Hey, shalom to the hopeful elect. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone who teach the truth and rule well. This is the brother Yatab Yahweh Allah coming back from the GMS SF Bay Area camp. And, I got a couple clips I want to play, and I got an article or two. But just mainly going on into these digital IDs and how you can see, all right, plainly, all right, if the spirit is dealing with you, that this is all leading up to the MOTB. All right, this is literally the MOTB system being put into place. It's the first step or one of the steps prior to the MOTB being implemented, which we know and understand. All right, if you can receive it, the MOTB is the CHIP. All right, the CHIP being inserted in you. Now, the digital ID aspect, we're going to get into it a little bit. It goes into the grapho part of the CHIP, all right, which is that information stored on that CHIP. But, we're seeing beginning stages real quick. Where is it? Yep, right here. It says 17 countries have rolled out or passed digital IDs in the last 3 months. The EU, UK, Laos, China, Taiwan, Mexico, Zambia, Canada, Ethiopia, Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, Costa Rica, Switzerland, and Papua New Guinea. All right, and there's another site that countries that have a form of digital ID. I think Spain wasn't on there. United Arab Emirates. All right, and Japan. All right, so, and it says the European Union is currently building an open source prototype for a digital wallet to be used by all of its 27 member states. So again, we're heading in that direction. All right, this is the MOTB system being put into place, and this is prophecy. All right, again, if you can receive it. And real quick, I wanted to get this. All right, Sirach 39 and 24. It says, as his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. And this is plain. All right, this is being made manifest. Real quick, let me grab that. And Habakkuk 2. Straight to the point, Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And what are these visions, these prophecies? The main end time prophecy we're looking for is the MOTB, which, what does it say here? It's not going to tarry, and it shall speak. So it shall be made manifest. It shall be made clear, specifically in these end times. All right, so you have the true prophets, the true men of the Lord. All right, as it pertains to, what is that, Jeremiah? Let me grab that real quick. That are bringing these things out. All right, bringing the truth out. So again, there's no excuse. And it says, and I will give you, Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And what does the scripture say? With all thy getting, get understanding. All right. And what is it? Philip, I believe, who said to the Ethiopian eunuch, understandest what thou readest? And what did the eunuch say? How can I, except I have some man teach me? So we have men, all right, starting from our apostles and elders on down, who are bringing out this information according to prophecy. All right. Now, real quick, and it's not revealed to everybody. All right. And this is why. No, let me see. I know it's in. Hold on, bear with me. I mean, this is why you have all these different groups out here that are, going off and telling you that the MOTB is something other than the CHIP, because again, the Lord isn't dealing with them. All right, those aren't the true prophets. They're not the true men of the Lord, and the Lord hasn't revealed his secrets. All right, but let me find that real quick. Bear with me. I want to bring that out. Oh yeah, Amos. It's not. It didn't come up. Let me grab it. Amos 3:7, and it says, "Surely the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets." So again, the Lord has set up pastors, all right, to give that true understanding. And those true pastors, all right, the true men of the Lord have been given these secrets, all right, that the Lord has revealed. Okay, this is the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit has been given to the men of the Lord to reveal these end time prophecies, and specifically the MOTB. All right. Now it says again, Sirach 39:24, as his ways are plain unto the holy. So they're crystal clear. All right. If you're of the elect, if the Lord has given you the gift of faith, if you can receive it, this is plain. All right. We go into these, we break it down. Or we go into the digital ID, we go into, the digital system, the fourth industrial revolution. Basically, Esau's plan for an NWO, which in it involves what? The MOTB, the micro CHIP. Okay? That's plain unto the elect. It's crystal clear. But what does it say? So are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. So the wicked, all right, and especially our people, the 2/3 of our people, they can't get it, and it's a stumbling block when they hear about a CHIP. They scoff at it, and that's some type of scientific fantasy. Okay, the white man, he's not going to do that. Surely the elites and the billionaires, and they have the best interest of us in their minds, as they would say. All right, but as we can see, all right, or if the Lord has given you the gift of faith to see, that is not the case. All right, we're dealing with Esau, Edom, and he is the wicked. All right, which real quick, where is that? No, it is Micah. Yep, Micah 2. No, let me actually go back to Habakkuk, and then I'll bring out Micah. Because this gives you the characteristics, all right, of the Edomite, and this is why we understand it to be him. All right, this is what he's pushing. Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. So his spirit's not right. When we talk about Esau, on Psalms 10, the Most High is not in this man's heart. He's not thinking about anything about Yahweh Shem Shai. It's not in the wicked. All right. So when they have plans like this, it's not far-fetched. All right, I'm going to get a couple clips. They're going to talk about it in the Jimmy Dore show and Whitney Webb on Glenn Beck. It's funny because they're in awe. How can people think about this? How can they do this? Well, this is Esau we're talking about, and specifically his top tribe, Amalek. All right. Now it says his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right, but the main point is what? He's proud man, he transgressed by wine, pushes out all these different philosophies, he neither keeps at home, he's a conqueror, but what does he do? He enlargeth his desire as hell. He just wants to keep wanting more and more, no matter the consequence, no matter on how he gets it. All right, he's willing to lie. He's willing to grape. All right, he's willing to steal, or he's willing to murder. All right, to get what he wants. And this is the Edomite that we're dealing with. And this is why, to hell with our people that want to save Esau. To hell with our people that trust Esau, because this is ultimately what he has in his mind towards our people. All right, this is a wicked man. Okay, Micah 2:1, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now they have this power. The Lord has given this ability to practice this iniquity, to work that evil. All right, this is their job. They're the wicked. All right, it says, and they covet fields. They take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they press a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. All right. And again, this is who we're dealing with. All right. We're dealing with the Edomite. This is how far he's willing to go. So when we talk about plans of, the MOTB of this man, what he's trying to implement. All right, this NWO, this fourth industrial revolution. All right, this transhumanism. Okay, this is within his characteristics. This is within his spirit to do so, because this is how he's been created. Okay. Now, from here, yeah, real quick, I'm gonna play this. I'm done with that. Whitney Webb's just gonna break down, a little bit of what the digital ID is. All right. Again, fair use
is not truly up on digital IDs and why this is so important. Can you explain what digital ID means if we begin to implement them?
Yeah, well, digital ID is really the linchpin to, the sustainable development goals, as well as this map.
Which, real quick, she's talking about the sustainable development goals, the SDGs. Which, again, who came up with those? That's the WEF, and we always talk about Klaus Schwab, all right, Noval Harari, all those who are part of that plan. The part of those think tanks, basically the spokesman for the elite, all right, what their plans for society are. But that's the same people who say you will own nothing and be happy. That's what these SDGs are. Basically, total control.
Mass surveillance paradigm that's being sold to us by oligarchs on the left and the right. It would be your unique identifier for the digital world. The goal is to have it be the way for you to offer your credentials to every service that you access, period. Everything ranging from healthcare to telecommunications, your social media accounts. And as things become increasingly digitally connected, perhaps even your appliances, if they're smart appliances at some point, won't function without you having the proper credentials to show that it's you. So ultimately, if people want to fight against this mass surveillance paradigm and these efforts to usher us into a very dark, I would argue, a technocratic future, the most important thing is to not comply with digital ID, because it's the single most important piece of infrastructure that they need, and they need us to voluntarily consent, because
which, again, that's the only ones who are going to be able to fight back, and not physically fight, but to not take the CHIP when it comes out, all right, is the elect. All right, the digital ID in itself is not the MOTB. It is a step towards the MOTB. All right, but as she broke it down, this is a mass surveillance, a total control. As everything, as she mentions, everything that goes, as more and more society goes digital, you'll be able to be connected to that. All right, now I'm going to bring it out in Revelation, the 13th chapter. There's a specific thing that has to be connected to it, to make it the MOTB. And well, there's a couple characteristics, but you can see how this is going to play into it. All right, so that, access to internet, access to your medical records, access to your online identity, all right, will all be on this digital ID. Okay, now let me get this. The Jimmy Dore and Laura's. Well, I'll leave this in the description box. These are good podcasts going into basically what these elites have planned. All right, and I'm gonna play a little bit of this. This is from the Jimmy Dore show. He's interviewing, I forgot what this guy's name, Dr. John Campbell, and they're going in on the digital ID as well.
IDs to the UK now.
Don't start me. Don't start me on digital ID. Everyone in the UK is going to get a digital ID card, as far as we know. It's going to be linked to probably everything. The petition against it is on, I think it's getting on for 3 million signatures of people that have, voted against it now. But all that does is get you a parliamentary debate. But the current government has got such a large majority that basically they can pass whatever they want. They're weaponizing aspects of the power of the state against the individual. And when the power of the state is arrayed against the individual, there's very little you can do about it. I actually went down to this march. I was in London I meant to tell you this at the start, actually. I went down to the Kirk Vigil. General Montgomery statue, and went down to Park. I could feel the tears, which is also a bit of an anti-government march, to be fair. so many of the policies that are 50,000 people there. Believe that if you want to. My estimate was at least one. It could have been 3. And that was without all the footage being released. That knows the way that the narrative is being controlled. So people will perhaps not go for the other pandemic aspect, but they'll aim for other ways to control the narrative. They aim for ways to control the individual through artificial intelligence powered. The combination of artificial intelligence, Jimmy, with digital ID cards, that is a pretty frightening combination. That's a bit of a morphine and midazolam combination. That it's the AI could empower the digital identity cards to intrude and control pretty well every aspect of life potentially.
Well, they
you heard it. These are to control every aspect of life. And again, we read it. This is the desire of Esau. All right, he wants total control. He wants to get back to that feudal system, which is what the lords and the peasants. All right, and the peasants that don't comply, they won't be able to be locked. They won't be able to participate in the system. All right, and what basically he wants to kill them off. Okay, this is the plan of the elite. Now, I just want to bring out this last thing. All right, and it shows you this is already what they have going on in China. This is basically the testing ground of the elites when you look into it. But they have something, it's called the social credit score, which is like the digital ID, and they have their payment system and everything on. It's a WeChat. All right, it's an app. All right, but it shows you. I'm gonna let the video play. It's only like a couple minutes, but it shows you how they want to control this thing. Let's see if it loads. Wow. Is it not going to load? Now, of course, it won't load. Satan. But anyways, when you play this video, this is off a Telegram channel called Blazing Press, but it shows you how in China a lot of these people are being blacklisted and they're young. All right, and it's not as if they don't have any money. It's just they've been blacklisted digitally, so they can't buy train tickets. All right, they can't get certain housing. You see a lot of them sleeping on the streets. They don't have access to certain things. They can't buy certain things, which again, this all plays into the MOTB. All right, which I'm going to grab that and see. It won't play. It's all good. Anyways, let's get that in Revelation, the 13th chapter, and then probably get Revelation 14 and close out. But this is Revelation 13. And verse 16, it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." And we go into this all the time. The mark is charagma, all right, which goes into the C hip, all right. And then you have the root word, charax, all right, which goes into the sharp palisade, or the surgical device that implants it, which is the needle, okay. And then you go to the root word of that, which is grapho, which again, the digital ID plays in this grapho part. All right, it says to write with reference to form of the letters, delineate, to write, right here, definition 2, to commit to writing, write down, record. All right, to write to one, i.e. by writing to a written epistle, to give information, directions. All right, so this is the information, all right, the records that are going to be put on the C-hip. All right, so this, it's just going to be implemented into a C-hip. First, it's a digital ID, all right, but then what? It leads to the MOTB, which is the C-hip, which will be in your hand instead of on your phone or in an app, or whatever, however they're going to roll it out with the digital ID. When it gets to the MOTB, it'll be all that into a C-hip in your hand. All right, that's their plan. All right, now again, I brought it out in Sirach 39 and Jeremiah the third chapter. You have a lot of false prophets out there, telling you that this mark is sin, or this mark is sleeping with white women, or an embargo on all these different countries. No, as we see, this mark is becoming more and more clear, all right, to everybody, all right. And even when you continue on that Jimmy Dore show, they actually quote Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right, so everybody's starting to see it, and again, it's as clear as can be seen. It's crystal clear. All right, Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. So for all these different groups that aren't bringing it out for what it actually is, what are they doing? They're stumbling. They're stumbling at the word. All right, and they're what? It shows that they're false prophets. All right, they don't have the truth. Okay. Now I'll end off on this, because again, we have to bring this out. We have to bring this warning out. Because this is what happens if you take that see-hip. It says Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with the, well, actually, I don't know if I finished the 13th chapter. Let's see. Yeah, let me finish this. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. So again, going into the being able to control. That's the control aspect, to control what you buy or sell. This is specifically going into the MOTB. So again, you've seen how that they were talking about the digital ID being connected to the digital system, being connected to society. They can ostracize that. This is exactly what we're going into. All right, this system. But ultimately, the MOTB is what? The see-hip. It says, and that no man might buy or sell. And I wanted to bring that video out because it showed you how these Moabites, they were ostracized from society, meaning they couldn't participate in the things that they wanted to do. That's why the scriptures say, to be ready to be pilgrims upon the earth. All right, fully relying on Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because that's the only way we're going to get through it. All right, Lord's will we be at that number. Okay, but it says, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And again, what did it say? Or what did I quote earlier? With all thy getting, get understanding. All right, understand what you read. Understand what what the Lord is saying. All right. Now let me jump to 14. It says, Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, which, the modern day beast is what? NATO and the EU, headed by America. All right. Which we already see it going into the NATO nations, the EU nations. Okay. And America is going to be implementing this as well. It says, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. If you take that see-hip, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, which is what? Thermonuclear destruction. If you take that see-hip and you're here in the land of America and the Lord spares you to see the coming of Yahushai and the angels, well, that's going to be with nuclear fire. All right, you're not going to be beamed up. You're not going to be saved because you sold out, because you were scared. All right, because you believed in the system that Esau is running, or the system that Esau is pushing. All right, whatever the case, if you take that see-hip, you're going to be destroyed with thermonuclear fire in the presence of Yahushai and the angels coming back. All right, simultaneously when they're coming back to save the elect, the 2/3 and everybody here in America who's not of the elect, all right, is going to be destroyed with thermonuclear fire. Okay, and also the heavenly weaponry from the chariots, which are those laser beams. All right. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushai. All right. And again, one of those commandments is what? To not take this see-hip. All right. If you believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, if you have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, And if you're of the elect, you're not going to take this C-hip. The Lord is going to save you from that hour of temptation, as it talks about in Revelation, the 2nd chapter or the 3rd chapter. All right, but nonetheless, Lord's will, this was edifying. Digital IDs is another step closer to the MOTBs, and we're here. All right, our salvation is nearer than when we believed. Prophecy is speaking, and it's coming fast. All right. Call Halayim Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect and above all.